Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we have continuing on with more with New Japan in day 7 of World Tag League. So we're only going to focus on the A block matches. And then, of course, we have Dynamite. As you know, we enter the aftermath after Full Gear. But however, we also begun matches for the latest Continental Classic tournament. So we have matches from both the Gold and Blue League. So we will see who will get the first 3 points in this tournament. And of course, we're going to see what else is going to happen. But first things first, we have the latest ChocoPro show, number 410. This took place recently on the 24th of November, featuring many matches. So it's going to be a lot of fun to review. And then, of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates, give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nike Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. If you like what you see, please subscribe to us, so click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been set aside. I believe it's time to fly like an eagle. So, let's begin with our very first review, and that is, of course, ChocoPro. Okay, ChocoPro number 410. This is the latest one they did back on the 24th of November in Ichigaya Square. And of course, we have Mei Shruga, who in fact opened up the show, giving the fans the greetings, the info on the event. So we'll see what happens. Normally we see Balinaki, but he wasn't present throughout the entirety of the show at all. So don't know what he was doing. But let's just go on. Our first match, we have, of course, the cute and very fun Kaho Iromi taking on the all energy Chiko Shikawa. So it makes you wonder, what does this little kid will do? That is the one thing that it's going to be fun. I mean, come on. We know Kaho is capable. I mean, she's like a much fun, cuter Mei Shruga, even though I call Mei Shruga the sliding devil, the way she actually acts. But you would think that because of the size between Kaho and Chi will be a factor. It is a factor in either in Kaho's favor or in Chi's favor. But unfortunately, it didn't work out well for Kaho when she was put in a submission by Chi, and of course forcing her to tap out. And just like that, it was over. Our next match, we have Tokiko Kirihara teaming up with Hagane Shino, taking on Diego, and of course, one half of the tag team champions, Sayaka Obihira, or as we know her as Obi. Nothing too significant on this particular match whatsoever. I mean, yes, we have Obi, who is one half of the tag team champions. If either Hagane or Tokiko pin her, they could get an opportunity. But, however, that wasn't the case. I mean, Diego, who made his debut recently, he did pretty good, but he did not win his singles match. But he was capable to win his Jonkin tournament. But him teaming with Obi, that's a little different. But it seems that he and Obi did pick up the rhythm, their pace, and it worked out perfectly because Obi was the one who picked up the win when she pinned Tokiko, and I thought, okay, Diego got his footing. Don't know much about him, but yeah. Our main event, we have, of course, coming all the way from Evolution, Miyuna. She teams up with, of course, Rina Yamashita, who we've seen on various promotions, not only in, of course, ChocoPro, but also in Ice Ribbons, Freedoms, and other promotions and GCW, but they will face against Miya Yatsuba and our current Super Asia champion, Mei Shruga. So it's no secret, of course, that Mei has dealt with Rina Yamashita in the past, but however, they have to deal with an outsider like Miyuna. So we'll see how that rolls up. However, of course, the dynamics of this match, you look at Miyuna and Rina Yamashita, they don't seem like they teamed up that at all. They're like another makeshift team that was put together. But you look at Mie and Mei Shuga, they have teamed up. But the factor of this, Mei was the one who trained Mie herself. So that plays out pretty well. But of course, it was Mei who picked up the win when she put Miyuna in a submission and forced her to tap out. And just like that, it was over. Now for our Junkin tournament, well, I can tell you that Kao did not reach even the passing the first round or anything. May was able to get to the second round, but it was Mia who picked up the win and winning the entirety of the Junkin tournament. So all is well, ends like that. So I think we are done with ChocoPro. I believe it's time to move on to our next review, and I believe that is New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling, day 7 of World Tag League. So nothing too significant for this match whatsoever. But we're only going to focus on the Block A matches only. Our first match, we have Tomoaki Hamna and, of course, Shota Umino. They take on Funky Sauce, Rusuke Taguchi, and Alex Zane. Now, so far, as you all know, Funky Sauce have been winners. They haven't won a singles match since the start of the tournament. Well, as for Hamna and Shota, they were able to pick up 2 wins. But in this case, you would have assumed in the back of your heads that maybe Shota Umino and Hamna would have picked up this win, but it did not because it was Zayn who picked up the win on Hamna with the Mahestral, giving them finally their first 2 points. So I don't know how far they will progress, but we will see how far they're willing to go. Now, our next match, we have the Bullet Club War Dogs with Sonata and the biggest crybaby of them all, Gabe Kidd, taking on the United Empire's Cal Newman and Jeff Cobb. So, as you know, there have been issues between both Kidd and Sonata due to the fact that there was a recent loss that they were not satisfied. I don't know exactly. I mean, we all, like I said, Gabe Kidd is a big crybaby. That's always been his case. He hates losing because he thinks he is the shit. That was the problem. But however, it was Gabe Kidd that was able to pick up the win on Cal Newman, giving them, of course, their next 2 points, with just a total 4, leaving, of course, the first lost by Newman and Cobb. So as I said before, this is their first loss. They, in fact, they were undefeated from the very beginning, and now 1 loss. I don't know what that means down the line, but we'll see. Now, our next match, we have, of course, the Bullet Club, just the regular Bullet Club members, Chase Owens and Kenta taking on LIJ's Yota Tsuji and Shingo Takagi. Now, of course, like any other type of match, we see certain dirty tricks coming in this match. Most specifically, we do see a moment where Kenta was, in fact, distracting the ref with the never open weight title, but it was, of course, Chase Owens that was able to pick up the win when he low blowed Tagagi, and then, of course, he did the small package pile driver, and just like that, it was over, giving them their next 4 points, the next 2 points, finally getting 2 points on the board, just like Funky Sauce. And just like that, it was over. Our main event, TMDK, Rio, Rohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. taking on two-time World Tag League winners and former tag champions Bishamon, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto. But I have to say, this was one of the best matches I ever watched, because the last part of this entire match, Rohei Oiwa, he showed a lot of fighting spirit, despite the fact that some wrestlers will always view him as a rookie no matter what. But if Zack Sabre Jr. saw a lot of things in him that he didn't possibly imagine, then he probably missed it. I mean, you would have assumed that he would have picked up a big win, but nope. He ended up on the wrong side of Shoto and got pinned by Goto himself, and just like that, they are now a total of 6 points. Well, TMDK, Oiwa, and Zach still end up in four. So pretty much, we will see how things will progress from all the teams. We're not done yet, and I'm pretty sure we have the next tournament for day 8, possibly the B block matches. But that's how we're gonna leave it things as it is. But as for now, we'll just move on with our last and final review, AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. As you all know, we entered the aftermath from Full Gear. But however, we don't know what the effect is going to be after that, but we do know what's the next logical step moving forward. As you may know now, the annual Continental Classic tournament has now begun, with, of course, I mentioned names that will be part of the Blue League and Gold League. And that's exactly how this entire day began with, of course, the Continental Classic Blue League match featuring the standard Shelton Benjamin taking on former ROH Tag Champion and ROH World Champion Mark Briscoe. Now, before the bell rung, of course, MVP did a little promo making a statement about what their next step is to collect championship belts. So that is possibly what they're planning. Now, when it comes to Mark Briscoe, you know that he is the toughest SOB on the planet. But when it comes to Shelton Benjamin, you all know that he is a much dangerous individual in the ring as well. And I think Mark Briscoe may have underestimated him, but it was, of course, Benjamin with the power slam, allowing him to get his first 3 points in the tournament. So we will see where that leads with him. Now, we did see a little interview with Monet and Camille after Mercedes Monet was able to retain the TBS title against Chris Statlander, but it seems that Camille decided to make a statement on the expense of Mercedes Monet. So there is talks now. People are saying, is this the end between those two? We will see what happens, because it's getting interesting, or maybe we just think it's sooner or later it's going to happen. Our next match is for the ROH World Title. The so-called Nueve decided to take on Tomohiro Ishii. So you probably know Ishii is one of the most toughest SOBs out of Japan, and he doesn't take any crap from anybody. But however, you ask yourselves, how will Jericho come out of it? I mean, yes, Ishii is strong. He doesn't stay down no matter what. But it took only two Judas effects to put him down completely for Jericho to retain the belt. So we'll see where that leads us from there. Now, Renee Paquette conducts an interview with, of course, Swerve Strickland after his loss. I think the general question we ask ourselves, and I think Renee asked, okay, where do we go from here for losing against Bobby Lashley? Well, of course, Swerve knows that he lost. He's willing to admit that. But the one thing he has said that he's willing to do is to rebuild from this. So that is the real question. But however, it seems someone said some bad remark, not some remarks that he could have just kept his mouth shut. Max Caster of the Acclaim showed up, and Swerve did not take it lightly for what he said, and of course, he ended up beating him up completely. So I don't know where that's gonna be. Now, of course, on in the ring, we did see Tony Schiavone talking to Hangman Page, and of course, Hangman, as you know, there was a lot of questions that's been happening since Full Gear. Why did he show up and attack Wheeler Yuta with the chair? What is his relationship with Christian Cage? However, he sees Christian Cage should have just minded his own business because, as we all know, we know what Christian Cage wants. He wants the AEW World title because he has the contract. Hangman Adam Page wants the title as well. So he's trying to make a claim. No one deserves that title more than him. But, however, Jay White, who made a good statement, made a good, valid point. He already beaten him twice. Why does he need to go for the AEW title? Well, Jay is the one who should be aiming for that. But however, the Death Riders had a different saying, so they attacked Jay White in order to make a statement. As you all know, they don't want nobody coming after the AEW World Title because John Moxley feels I'm the one who calls a shot. So he feels, sorry Jay, you're not getting the title. Now, our next match, we have the Gold League of the Continental Classic. We have Claudio Castagnoli taking on Ricochet. Now, of course, you look at Claudio Castagnoli, a very tough bastard who is capable of putting someone down. But when it comes to Ricochet, you know he's out of this world. That's always been who he is. Now, the question is, could he escape someone like Claudio? I mean, you can say yes and no if you want. But unfortunately, Ricochet ended up on the wrong side of the lariat, and Claudio picked up the win, getting his first 3 points. Now, Renee Paquette conducts another interview, but this time with Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher talking about the intended victory against Will Ospreay this past Saturday in Full Gear. But of course, he made a statement that, of course, Kyle Fletcher is far more better than Will. We'll just have to wait and see about that when we get closer and closer down the line. Now, Adam Cole made his way down to the ring. As you know, he was still affected after what happened to Roderick Strong in the hands of MJF. As you know, Adam Cole wants to deal with them, and Kyle Fletcher feels like you're putting everyone in front of you to fight your battles. But Adam Cole reiterated him that he's not. So it seems that Kyle O'Reilly wants a piece of MJF. But MJF is saying that, sorry guys, I have no interest in challenging you guys because you're not my priority. So of course, MJF doesn't give a two-bit care about O'Reilly and Cole. His primary focus is getting back on top. But we'll see what happens. Now, we do see a match for the Wrestle Dynasty International Women's Cup qualifier. We have Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminata. I mean, these two ladies are fantastic. I mean, Queen Aminata is one of those people we can say she should be rising to the occasion. But when it comes to Jamie Hayter, former AEW Women's World Champion, we know where she leads. But it was Hayter with the Haterade that allowed her to pick up the win. So we'll see what happens down the road. Now, Renee Paquette did a backstage interview talking to Mina Shirakawa over what happened with Mariah May. So basically, she questions it, and of course, she said that she'll pull out the real Mina Shirakawa. I don't know what that meant, but of course, Mariah May attacked her from behind. And now it's been confirmed at Winter is Coming, Mina will get her opportunity to get her hands on Mariah May for the AEW Women's World title. So that is something we will see. Now, our main event is the Gold League of the Continental Classic, Darby Allin versus Brody King. Now, it's no secret that these two men know each other. Brody, on the other hand, we know that he has defeated him before, but Darby Allin has defeated him too. So they're going back and forth in every possible. Of course, Brody King knows that, of course, Darby Allin is very relentless, very, careless about what he is going to do. But in the end, it was, of course, Brody King with the Gonzo bomb that allowed him to pick up his win to get his first 3 points. And just like that, it was over. However, in the post-match, Claudio Castagnoli showed up with the chair, but Brody decided to block him from entering. It's no secret that, of course, now Darby Allin has now become a threat to the Death Riders. But Brody, for some odd reason, decided to defend him. But it's now been told that next week on Dynamite during the Continental Classic tournament, we have Brody King versus Claudio. So that's going to be one hell of a match we definitely don't want to miss. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just end things here with AEW Dynamite and move on with our last and final thing, and that is, of course, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events from the promotion, starting with GCW. As you know, on the 6th of December in Tampa for Ransom, we have, of course, Rich Swann versus Jack Cartwheel. And then, of course, on the following day, on the 7th of December in Atlanta, Georgia, Mastermind. And they just announced Jimmy Wang Yang will be making his presence there. And then, of course, on the 13th of December in Phoenix, Arizona, scene of a crime, we have the Garbage Daddies versus Wolf Zaddies. And then the brand new show taking place on the 31st of December, which is New Year's Eve, they have Till Infinity. And that's going to be at the Mecca at Ridgeway Park. So that is something we definitely going to be watching. No announcement's been made. Now, as you know, next year for, of course, their event, the People versus GCW taking place in New York City on January 19th of 2025. 5 more names have been announced, and that is Homicide, Little Guido, Maki Ito, Super Crazy, and Amazing Red. So yeah, so we got that match taking place as well. Now we have the WrestleCade Super Show taking place on the 30th of course, of November. Joe Hendry versus Raj Desi, formerly known as Jinder Mahal. Shelton Benjamin versus Speedball Mike Bailey. The Nemeth brothers, Ryan and Nick, will take on Matt Cardona and Brad Attitude. In a hardcore match, we have Masha Slamovich versus Lindsay Snow. A doors, ladders, and chairs match, we have Joey Janela, Kobe Carino, and Zilla Fatu taking on White Mike, Diego Hill, and Bojack. We have Elijah versus Fodder, Matt Riddle versus Mustafa Ali, AJ Francis versus George South, and then finally Devon Dudley's sons, TNT, Terrence and Terrell versus the Good Hands, Jason Hotch and John Schuyler. And then on the 1st of December, we have Ladies Night Out, Jordan Grace versus former WWE superstar Vic Crow, formerly known as Alicia Fox. So yeah, so that's the match for that. And then, of course, matches have been announced for the upcoming Wrestling Revolver on the 7th of December season finale. We have the world title defended. Ace Austin defends his belt against Matt Cardona. Moose versus Myron Reed. The World Tag Team titles, RED, Alex Colon and Dark Pledge take on Alpha Zigma. Then the Remix title will be defended. Lince Dorado defends his belt against Jake Something, Dante Leon, Damian Chambers, Crash Jackson, and JJ Garrett. Then we have, of course, Sendai Girls on the 8th of December. Zones versus Manami. And, of course, now we have the Sendai Girls Junior World Championship on the line. Chi-Chi defends her belt against someone who she defeated for this belt when it was vacant, Yuna. So that's going to be a lot of interesting things happening on that match. And then we have DPW 3rd anniversary on the 8th as well. The finals of the Carolina Classic, we have Luke Jacobs versus one called Manders. And then finally, on the 13th of December in Arena Mexico, Consejo Mundial Lucha Libre, or better known as CMLL, they announced that Diana Praza will be making her debut, the face-off La Catalina. And so that's pretty much it for our upcoming events. Let's talk about some developments. Fightful Select reports that Konosuke Takeshita, our current AEW International Champion, is set to appear in DDT events in January. Um, TNA announced that they have re-signed the Hardy Boys. As you know, they are now the current TNA Tag Team Champions, so that's pretty much it. Now, apparently, there's been a little problem. It appears that Ricky Starks has been pulled off from his GCW appearance. So basically, there's been a lot of things going on. Let me pull out the statement from what GCW were talking about. Here it is. We've been informed that Ricky Starks have been pulled from all upcoming GCW appearances, including his announcement match on the 14th of December at Los Angeles, his unannounced match on the 28th in Seattle, and his unannounced match on the 19th in Hammerstein Ballroom. So it seems that he's being pulled. We don't know what is going on here, but this is something I think that Ricky Starks has been saying he doesn't know what really is going on here, but hopefully the answers will come out. So we'll see what happens from there. I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have more with New Japan with day 8 of World Tag League. So I may put that now. However, I'm not sure about TNA Ring of Honor because by the time this video is out, we already will be on Thanksgiving. So we'll just see how that rolls up. There are some shows I need to catch up with, but we'll just see how things plays out. But for now, we'll leave things as it is, and let's just hope for the best. But as of right now, I will only say this: that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.